Hey guys, this is Retro Collector 101 back here with another video. I'm sorry I haven't been posting in a while. It's been spring break, so I decided why not have a bit of a break from the channel. I'll be trying to release videos in the every 3 weeks. I think I'm gonna try to post every 3 weeks so I have some time to work on quality content and at the same time have some time to focus on my own life, as this is clearly not what I do for a living, or I don't really have all the time in my life to make videos. I really do. I love posting videos for you guys, but sadly I cannot always do it. But anyways, why don't we get straight into the video? So in this video, I'll be talking about crazy console ideas, my top 3, that just were too stupid to do well. Anyways, why don't we get straight into the video? But for this video, I did have to make this video short enough for you guys, so I will be summing it up with my top 3. So why don't we start off with number 3. So if you did not know, the Engage, also known as the Taco phone, was born in 2003. It was a device that could not only play games, but could connect to the internet. You could take calls, you could play music. It had a lot of things going for it. On paper, at the time, this did sound like amazing ideas, but at the time, the iPhone was not released, so you gotta give them some credit, as it was only 2004 and something like that just was not feasible for success. Since multi-touch screens were not available in mass quantities and mass production at the time, Nokia had to still use the numeric keyboard and had to find some way of integrating the A and B with those numbers, so that you could still play games with the controls, but at the same time, you would not lose too much space. At least that's what they thought. All in all, the photo was in portrait mode, and it was very hard to play games like that as it was not in landscape. As you could imagine, playing games like Tomb Raider and Sonic the Hedgehog was just a nightmare and nothing short of it, because those mushy buttons just could not do the trick, and having only one D-pad to move the character in Tomb Raider side to side just was not enough. I just did not like those controls, as I personally own one myself. It was even worse than the PSP in controls, and I know a lot of people like the PSP. I do, but the controls, missing that extra joystick, it's just not easy. And having only one D-pad and 2 buttons on the Nokia Engage was not enough. Oh, and did I tell you that you literally had to take off the back cover, take out the battery, take out the old game and put in a new game, put in the battery, put on the back cover just to change the game? That meant that you had to fully shut down the device, or else you may have lost some memory in the game. This was insane, which is why they just had to change it for the next model, the QD. In 2004 as well, they just put way too many things in the device that they just did not have enough space for the speakers, which is why it gained the nickname the Taco phone, as you had to call with it sideways. That's ridiculous, and it was just such a pain. Everyone was making fun of it. If you went on social media, you would just find so many memes, and I just felt so bad for Nokia, honestly. They just tried way too much. Overall, Nokia tried to cover up with their mistakes with their next model, but that just did not work out. Overall, Nokia had to try to cover up with their mistakes with the Nokia Engage QD, but that just did not work out. Having a limited game library, since not many producers wanted to create games for the console, meant that not many people wanted to pay about $300 USD for this type of console, especially if it didn't even work out that well, and especially if the first model did not do well at all. Most people didn't even want a phone call because they had their great flip phone. Like, all they wanted to do was play video games, and having all that many extra features just made people feel like they could have saved a lot of money getting like a Game Boy Advance or a PSP instead of this ridiculous handheld, which is why all in all, the Nokia Engage only managed to sell about 3 million. Number 2, the Pioneer Laser Active. Released on September 13, 1993, a Laserdisc player, a Genesis player, a Mega Drive player, an Imports player, a Sega CD player was born. And did I mention that there were add-ons that you could also get for this to make it play like TurboGrafx 16 console games? That's a bit too much. I don't know about you, but that's way too much. And what do you think happens when a console decides to put that many things into just one piece of plastic? Well, the price will go that way. And do you know what happens when the price goes that way? Sales go that way. Yeah. So for the Pioneer Laser Active, sales did not go their way as the console was a whopping $970 USD in 1993, which if you counter in inflation, that's a whopping $1,900 USD. Actually, a bit more than that. Oh yeah, and the add-ons I mentioned a bit before this, those costed 600 USD in 1993. So put in inflation and I don't even know how much that is. That's definitely over $1,000. So overall, not too much to be said. And what's a Laserdisc for you guys? Well, that's basically a CD or DVD before those were actually released. I'm no pro with that, but that's pretty much it with the console. It could play almost every Sega console at the time. So I don't know about you, but I just think that was a bit too much, which is why sales just went south real fast. Number 1, the Mattel Hyperscan. If parents wanted to buy something cheap and wanted to penny pinch and get a cheap console for their kids and didn't care if their kids were upset during Christmas Day, well, the Hyperscan was meant for them. Released for only $69 USD, which is basically 70, this piece of plastic, which was also a scanner and game player, was just one hot mess by Mattel. This cheap piece of plastic basically accepted disc as games, right? But you had to get extra cards which made no sense and scan them to add players or levels to make your game work. It just was a hot mess from the start, and clearly Mattel was not the brightest bulb. Mattel basically thought that since card games were extremely popular and game discs were extremely popular, that combining those two would lead to another success. But that did nothing but break the bank for some parents, which is why only 5 games were released for the system, and not even all of them were complete, since, you had to manufacture those extra cards to complete the game, and, if a console doesn't do well, why would you even complete it? That's even worse than the Virtual Boy. Oh my gosh, I thought that other companies could learn from other companies' mistakes, but obviously Mattel proved me wrong. And did I tell you that the games all sucked? The side scrollers just made the characters look like they were floating in midair, because they literally were. There were some parts where a message would be propped up on the screen and the game would be paused right in the middle, and the characters would just stop, even if they were jumping. They would stop in the air. It looked like they were floating, and they would lose momentum, which meant that the character would probably die and you would probably not make it through the level. So I just think this was a huge failure. So anyways, not long after, Mattel knew this was a failure and had to discontinue the console, which is why you can't really find this console at your local Walmart or local Best Buy. So anyways, I think you guys knew it was too dumb of an idea to be a successful one. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. If you like the video, please give this video a thumbs up, and please hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Anyways, guys, see you in the next one. Bye.